Peace and blessings, y'all. I'm Courtney, and welcome to Multidimensional Soul Podcast. I hope everyone had an amazing weekend and have set intentions for an amazing week as well. Today, I'm coming to you guys with what is, I guess, a bit of a pet peeve or something I just feel like the masses have got to stop doing, which is asking women when they're going to have children. First things first, let's just say it ain't none of your business when a woman decides to have children. When she decides, then she decides. You just see the baby or see them pregnant and then offer your congratulations and move the fuck on. Secondly, I just think it's a bit rude and insensitive. You never know what a woman is going through. Some women really want to have children and cannot. I know several of them, and it's hard listening, and it's even hard knowing, like, gosh, this person wants a child so bad and they can't seem to have one. Like, this is the one thing they want, and their body, it doesn't allow them to have one. It's sad. So imagine how that person feels when they're married or of age, whatever that is and means, and people are constantly like, when you're gonna have kids, when you're gonna have kids. Well, surely everyone isn't a safe space, so they're not just gonna be like, oh, I've tried and I can, or oh, I've been trying but the doctor said X, Y, and Z. Just shut up. Just shut up. Especially when people get married, I feel like as soon as someone gets married, that's the first thing everyone wants to say. Like, bro, we ain't been married 24 hours yet. Now here y'all going, when you gonna have babies? When you gonna have babies? Whenever the fuck I get ready. Excuse me, that's gonna always be my first answer because don't ask me shit. However, you also have to be mindful that everyone doesn't even want to be parents. And right there, I'm going to stop and I'm going to give a big shout out to the people that have always known they've wanted children, whether it be a man or a woman. You walk around and some people just have always known they want to parent. They want to be responsible for someone else in this world. They just have grown up and just always known. And I find that to be outstanding because I am not that person. Growing up, anyone asked me, I did not want children, period. And I don't really know why. I'd like to say my aunt ruined me because her and I kind of grew up, well, not kind of, we grew up really close. There's about 11 years age difference between us. And she was pregnant for like 3 years. Like literally she has doorstep children. And I was in middle school, high school. Who you think was doing a lot of the babysitting and changing diapers and all that other shit? Me. And I didn't even mind it, if I'm being honest, then when I look back at it. But I think sometimes I just wanted to be like, don't ask me to keep your children. Like, don't ask me nothing because I just don't want to be responsible for anyone. Not so much because children were bad or because they cried, etc. Because she didn't have bad children. But I don't even think that's why. I just didn't innately know. Like, that wasn't something that I just knew. And by the time I was like, okay, I'll consider a child, I was maybe like 23 or 24. But even then, I was just like, I'll have a child, but I don't want to have a child before the age of 33. Like, I want to be 33 or after when I have a child. And everyone then was like, 33? That's old. You ain't gonna have no eggs left. Da, 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 da. Stop age shaming people when it comes to what age they think they want to have a child or what age they in fact get pregnant. I remember I think it was my great grandmother that was always like, what are you waiting on? Like, you need to have a child. And I was like, I don't want no child before I'm 33. She's like, no, that's too old. And proceeded to tell me when she started having her children. And I just remember looking like, lady, this ain't that. And that ain't this. I'm not ready to be responsible for anything else in this world. I have loved and enjoyed being responsible for just me, moving whenever I wanted to move, waking up on a Saturday and be like, I'm going to drive 3 hours to this destination and stay the night because I want to. And this isn't me like trying to throw it in the faces of people that have kids. I'm just saying, for me, it just wasn't something I was excited to do. Granted, we can factor in the fact that I am married to a woman. I was married to a woman previously before this time, and a lot of my adult relationships have been with women. Not to say that I haven't been sexual with men, because a bitch had a pregnancy scare in like 2016 before Britney. Let me get that clear. And when I had this scare, I was just kind of like, oh shit, this it. I'm scared as fuck. Like, oh gosh. And but also like a little bit of excitement, like, oh shit, I'm gonna be somebody motherfucking mama. I was literally all over the place. But I knew I wasn't gonna like have an abortion or anything. But when it came back and it was like, yo, you ain't pregnant, I was like, all right, nigga, you ain't gonna get me no more. Like, that was cool. It would have been all right, but it's a dub. Like, we ain't even gotta worry about that no more. And since then, I've just kind of been like, eh. And my wife and I have talked about children. And truth be told, she ain't decided either. Like, we just be looking around like, do you want to do it? Do you not want to do it? And I think the thing with me is, for her and I, it's not like we can just accidentally get pregnant or be having sex and then boom, like, oh, we're pregnant. Oh gosh, this is so joyous. We have to plan. There's a lot of money that is involved. Because a lot of people like to be like, oh, you got the military benefits. Honey, they ain't all that what they cracked up to be. And they don't cover a lot of shit. So there's a lot of money that has to be spent. There are a lot of doctor's visits that are involved. There's just a lot of steps that we have to take and money that we have to spend that a regular couple, heterosexual couple, would not have to, provided everything is working appropriately. I do, let me just say that. And sometimes I just be sitting around thinking, like, do I want to be a mother as much as work I'm going to have to put into it? The doctor's appointments, the checkups, the money, do they equal the same, or does me wanting to be a mom outweigh any of that? Like, fuck all that, I want to do it. And every time I'm just kind of like, eh. And I don't have anything against children. Anyone that knows me, I don't mind children at all. I'll babysit them. I mean, me and Brittany was just saying we wanted to be somebody's baby daddies. Like, we wanted to get a little baby on the weekend and, take them out and have the baby spend the night and, baby them, love on them, and then give them back. Like, that's what we want to do, because we haven't been around like a legitimate baby, either of us, in so long. And even with all of my friends having kids, it's COVID and they're far. So, I mean, I don't know, but being asked all the time about when we're going to is quite annoying, because sometimes I do be wanting to make a motherfucker feel bad and be like, we can't even have kids, so why are you asking us that? But also, I don't want to lie or try to speak something like that into existence, but I do be wanting motherfuckers to feel bad, because shut the fuck up asking people that, especially for me to feel that strongly about it, and I'm not even a person that goes through that. I mean, truth be told, I haven't been to the doctor to be like, hey, can we have babies since like 2018? Then everything was cool. They was like, yeah, we can get this show on the road if you want to today. Then we stopped, and it's 2021. Who knows what has happened or transpired? But I just know, for me, anytime someone asks or I witness someone ask that, I cringe, because you just never know. And I also want to say that it doesn't make a woman, especially, less of a woman if she doesn't want to have children. Like, can have them, but absolutely chooses not to. Everyone has a choice to make. And you guys have to stop shaming women. I see posts sometimes like, real women like have children, like they bear children, that's what they're supposed to do. And I'm not even going to get into the like real women like have vaginal birth versus C-section. Like, it's all too much. A real woman is a real woman that is a real woman, period. That's just the end of that. I'm not any less of a woman because, honestly, I don't know if I want children. I'm 32 years old and I still don't fucking know if I want children. And that doesn't make me any less of a woman. That just makes me a woman that doesn't have children. And especially women, I think it was an old term people used to say, like, barren, or I'm sure someone knows what I'm talking about. Like, older people say it sometimes. I don't know, but it's used to describe a woman that like can't have kids, and I hate the term. It has such a negative connotation behind it, and I just don't like it. I don't know. This has just gotten on my nerves so much today, or not today, but recently, from one being asked. Like, I recently had to sit my mom down and be like, yo, you've been harassing me for about the last decade. I ain't did it. We gotta let it go. Like, we gotta figure out a way to let it go. It ain't happening, Captain. And when it does happen, I will let you know, but it ain't right now. Don't make me feel the pressure. And it is, I feel like a lot of pressure, even though children aren't even on my radar. It's still so much pressure, or I get so anxious the minute someone brings it up and wants to talk to me about it. And I think that's because I beat my own self up. Like, gosh, why don't you know? Why don't you know if you want to have a child? Why don't you know if you want to experience motherhood? And so when people start asking, it's just like, ugh, I'm already dealing with this within myself. Don't ask me. Because also, where you going to be when I do have the child? Let's talk about that. What is going to be your contribution? Are you even someone that I would want to be contributing in my child's life? That's another thing, because it'd be the most random people that ask. Have a seat. I just want people to be more aware and more cautious when they're wanting to ask women, why don't you have children, or when you're going to start having children. Women don't want children sometimes. Women can't have children sometimes. And that's just that. I don't really know if men have the same issues. Like, I know of men that want children that may not have any yet, but they've never said that, oh, they get asked a lot, or how they feel when they're asked. But for women, it's a dub. And I think it's just because men can want children all they want, but they can't have children without a woman. So the pressure a lot of the times is still really on the woman to produce, to create the child, to help and be the vessel. And truth of the matter is, for some women, that isn't in the cards biologically. And for other women, even if it is in the cards, they don't want to. And that was one of the things I had to realize about myself too. A lot of the guys that I used to talk to were already fathers. They were damn good fathers, if I must say. But they wanted more children. Specifically me. They wanted me to be their child's vessel. And that's the quickest way to get me to lace up them track shoes and get the fuck on, baby. Because again, I've never been 100% sure that I've wanted children. And then let's talk about the fact that I don't know that I want to parent with anyone else. Like, I want to parent my way by myself. But that's a whole different episode, because your girl is still working through some things, okay? So I'm going to switch gears and introduce the plant of the week, which is a neon heartleaf philodendron, popular for its neon green and heart-shaped foliage. Neon heartleaf philodendrons are low maintenance. They like medium indirect light, but they can tolerate the lower light levels as well. Any humidity level in the home will suffice, but a higher humid air will aid in faster growth and larger leaves. Also, another tip for plants, if you have trailing plants like heartleaf philodendrons, Mikan philodendrons, or any pothos, those are considered trailing plants because they're very viney. If you climb them up like a trellis, or some people use wooden planks, but when you climb viney plants like that, the leaves become very big. I'm talking like bigger than the size of your hand or so. I have a picture of my heartleaf philodendron on my plant page, Peace Love Plants on Instagram, so that you can see what I mean when I say when you climb a plant, the leaves are big. You can also go on Google or YouTube to look up the leaf size or the leaf difference when you climb a plant versus trailing. I'm telling you, it will blow your mind. Another quick tip about neon heartleaf philodendrons: you water them every 1 to 2 weeks, but most importantly, you allow the soil to completely dry out in between the waterings. It is very important that you don't overwater your plant. Underwatering as well, but do not overwater your plant. So check out the neon heartleaf philodendron and let me know what you think. If you decide to buy one, do not forget to send me a picture, because I want to see all the planty things. All right, y'all know it's March. New month, new blessing, new crystal. This month's crystal of the month is amethyst. Amethyst is known to relieve stress, balance mood swings, and activate spiritual awareness while enhancing your intuition. This makes amethyst the perfect stone for beginners. It was actually my first crystal when I started my spiritual journey back in 2016, and to this day it's still one of my favorites, and sometimes I sleep with it under my pillow. Yes, you heard me, underneath my pillow. Look up the benefits of that and see if you want to get into putting, a couple crystals under your pillow as well. As always, thank you so much for listening. New episodes drop every Monday. Don't forget to subscribe. Love and light.